Social housing has never been more prominent in our minds and in the news. The availability and even safety of affordable housing is in question. And at the same time, research suggests we've never been less community-minded. A recent survey has shown that half of us don't even know the name of our next-door neighbour.
So is it time to rethink our approach to housing? Throughout the UK, there's a quiet revolution going on where people aren't waiting for government, councils or the big developers to do something. They're taking matters into their own hands. I'm going to meet some of these people who are taking control of their community's housing and attempting to create better places to live.
Wow, it's like a different world.
Some are fighting the demolition of perfectly good homes, whilst others are designing brand new, close-knit communities within their cities.
You know, this feels like a place to live.
Can they really make a difference? Well, we're going to find out.
I've come to Leeds to meet Mary. She lives alone in her 2-bedroomed terraced house.
You've got such a gorgeous home here.
Yeah, but it's not a community as such. I think it's the community. Because, you know, as you get older, I mean, even me, who was very friendly and got loads of friends and that, you can get lonely. You know, there are some days when I don't talk to anybody.
Mary has just joined a community co-housing group called Chaco. Chaco have secured a plot of land and are planning to build their own community of houses, a mini village inside the city.
So when you move into Chaco, you're not actually going to be going that far, are you?
No, down the bottom of the street, yeah. I think I'll feel that I'm living within a sort of community and family, and that I've built up that relationship with those people. And it's knowing that there are people there who'll be there for you. And, you know, like I said, I'm not going to be friends with everybody. Not everybody's going to like me or I'm going to like them, because that's, you know, it's a utopia that in a way doesn't exist. But it's a possibility of something very special, isn't it? A special place. And that's what I'm looking forward to.
This is the site where they're planning to build Chaco, the community that Mary's going to live in. Now, looking around, it's hard to believe that this soon will be a thriving community. But I want to know a bit more about the plans, so I'm going to go meet David. He's one of the organisers.
Chaco is local groups coming together to set up a housing facility.
As a Chapeltown born and bred lad,
Yeah.
when you heard about Chaco, how much persuasion did it take for you to say, I'm in?
It didn't take much persuasion, to be honest with you. I knew the needs that were desperately needed in this area in terms of housing. This really special project.
How proud are you going to feel personally on the day when you all actually move in?
I'm gonna be feeling very, very happy. I'm gonna be excited. I'm gonna be elated.
Yeah. You must be. You will be bursting with pride, thinking, we made this happen. That's what you'll be thinking.
And I think all of the people who's been involved will be feeling the same way too.
Yeah.
There is definitely a genuine closeness amongst the group.
Yeah.
And we do meet regular. We do have get-togethers. We try to get to know each other more in this project, because we're going to be living amongst each other in this project. So we've started already. We've started that process of getting to know each other.
Because obviously all this greenery here you've got on the drawings,
Yeah.
that's going to take some doing, isn't it? Are you prepared for the back-breaking work?
We are all prepared for the back,
yeah.
and I think the back-breaking work has actually gone through, especially, you know, the planning stages of things. All the people who's been involved in the planning, the design, the layout. I think that's been very backbreaking.
Right.
So my hands up to all the people who's been
Yeah.
involved in that.
Yeah.
And getting that pass for the local
Yeah, because
authorities.
it's not quick and easy, is
It's
it?
not quick and easy.
Here in the UK, we simply don't have enough homes. Now, on average, we build around 160,000 new homes each year. But the government has admitted that we should actually be building around 250,000 homes just to keep up with demand. This puts pressure on developers to build quickly and cheaply, and it also means that housing has become a big business, with developers trying to pack in as many houses as possible into each plot of land.
Coming up, I'm going to put these challenges to the experts to see if they can do anything about it. I'm also going to visit the UK's first mutually owned co-housing scheme and find out what it's really like to live there. Is it really possible to create community spirit?
Do you know, they sometimes say that the number of cranes in the sky is a good indicator of how a city and economy are doing. Well, if that's the case, Leeds is booming because there are so many cranes out there. But the question is, are they just building places for people to reside, or are we actually building places where people live? I've come to Leeds Dock in the heart of Leeds city centre to talk to urbanist David Lunn.
There's no local sort of feel of local community here, and that's because the people who actually live here will spend most of their day away in the city centre earning their living. The offices may be full of people, but they're sort of in their offices between 9 and 5. So the interaction and the activity that you get from a community, whether it's accidental or by design, by community action, doesn't tend to happen. It needs to be created in some way. And one of the solutions, of course, is to minimise the size of your community development. And maybe this could have been, if you like, broken up into more intimate, inward-looking spaces for each area to have their own shared space. This is where they get it right in Scandinavia, where they've actually worked out that you do need to have a local area within a bigger area. If you turn that round and creating a community that is going to be instantly successful for those who are part of that community, you need to think small and you need to think qualitatively rather than quantity. It's great to see a piece of land and look and work out the calculation of how much development property, height-wise and density-wise, you can get on it and see what the return is, and that ticks the box of it's financially viable. But what you need to do is have an equal sort of interest in, is this a place that people want to live in and invest in?
So talking to David, he's got some really good ideas about how small-scale developments could make all the difference. It seems to me that potentially we might need to put more responsibility on the developers to actually look at how we create communities, how we create places for people to live.
One set of developers are doing just that. I'm meeting Jonathan, who is responsible for a new housing development just up the river.
These homes that will be the first family housing to be built and delivered in the city centre in 90 years.
Wow, the first family housing in 90 years. That is such a change from just kind of building loads and loads of flats for young people, single people, just couples, isn't it?
It is. What we're trying to do here is trying to encourage people to move back into city centres, not take themselves out to the leafy suburbs of their city and then have to transport themselves in on a daily basis there and back. It's about creating healthy places in which people can collaborate. It's about social cohesion. So we've got a bridge that's currently in for planning, that is going across, that's connecting those two sites. And most importantly, it's giving some of the surrounding communities the opportunity to get into the city centre in about half the time. We've done quite a detailed analysis of the walking distance, the safety of the walk from particularly...
Have you designed where the homes are going to be then to assist that walk into the city centre?
Absolutely.
Wow, that's amazing, because tell me if I'm wrong, I would imagine most developers would design where they can get the maximum number of units.
Yeah, to give you some context, the site run now, when we acquired the site, had planning for almost double the amount of units that we've put on the site. So we took an approach with our architects to actually start by looking at the place, start by looking at connectivity, start by looking at accessibility. This is about public, Leeds, civic connectivity. This is about people knowing their neighbours, so we had shared space, so no, other than some private rooftop gardens that we're going to have on the houses over here, the rest of the space is shared.
Shared gardens?
Shared gardens.
Great!
It's shared gardens. We're hoping the community will self-police and manage their place, and that is the most important part of what we're trying to do here. It's about placemaking.
One of the unusual things about this development is that the social housing will be mixed in with the privately owned properties. While I was on site, I bumped into Jill from Leeds Community Homes. She's working alongside Jonathan on this project.
One of the things I think is great about this scheme is that the flats and the homes that are for social housing are going to be dotted in and around the other houses, aren't they?
When developers are looking for an affordable housing partner, usually, apparently, what happens on a development like this is that the affordable housing partner would say, well, yeah, we'll take them, but we want them all to be in the same location. All together, it's easier to manage, and that's how we do it. And I understand that from their point of view. But what Situ, the developer here, wanted to do, and what we're really keen on, is that these flats will be just pepper potted throughout the development. And I just think, you know, why would you not do that? You integrate people together completely. So, you know,
people
you could
won't
be,
know, will they?
they'll
That's
have
the thing,
no
they
idea.
won't know.
No. And that's proper community building, which is what we want to do, obviously, at Leeds Community Homes. And what's really interesting about Situ, which is not apparently like most of the developers, is that they're really interested in that as well, proper community building.
I'm meeting people who are tackling Britain's housing crisis. They're fed up of uninspiring and isolating homes and working to build better places to live.
How easy, though, is it to create a community? Now, Lilac, behind me, was the first mutually owned home ownership co-housing scheme in the UK. So I've come down today to meet Laura. She's one of the people who lives here.
Welcome to Lilac.
Thank you so much.
Come in.
Thank you so much. How many places to live here?
20 homes.
And do you know every single person who lives here?
Oh, well.
Too well?
No, not too well. No.
But you
Yeah,
proper
I
know,
feel like
not
I'm
just their
engaged with
names,
it.
you
No.
actually know them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And call on them for a favour or help or a proper discussion if you've got some difficulty, practical help.
When you move into Lilac, you basically commit, don't you, to actually doing something. You have to take a job on, don't you?
Well,
Is
you
that
have to
right?
make the community work. I suppose everyone's committed to the fact that you haven't just occupying a house. What we want is a engaged community.
Okay. So it's
we
not
haven't-
just like any other place where you buy a house and maybe there's other people nearby. You come and you say, I am going to be an active member of this community.
Yeah. The site has been designed to foster interaction. So it's not that we're peculiarly sociable people.
Okay.
It's that we have a common house, so we have a space that we can get together in. And our post room is in there, so we have to come to the post room. And we basically, the road doesn't separate us, so we interact with each other all the time. We see each other coming and going. So it's a sort of designed space to foster interaction whilst giving you your separate family home. So this is Paul going to the laundry. Shared laundry is great.
The shared laundry, because people have told me this is one way that absolutely guarantees that you all know each other.
Yeah. So it is. It's just that design of shared space. So at first people would say to me, "Oh, I'd need my own washing machine," and now I think, why would you have a washing machine in your house?
So yeah, I think it's one of those things that if you've got easy access to a washing machine, why would you want your own?
And we've got easy access to 5 washing machines.
So halfway through,
and if you've got like 3 different lots of washing, you've just been away camping, you can put it all on at once.
And you get to see your neighbours, your friends.
You get to see their underwear that they've left behind.
Great.
In the washing.
Hello, Laura. You must be Peg.
I am Peg. Hello. Hi.
I'm Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
No, we're doing all right. Let me ask you while we're here, Alan, then. What do you love about living in Lilac?
Well, my neighbours. Well, I've got 2 young children, and it's how they have significant adults in their lives that aren't their biological parents, and that's just amazing for them.
I think housing doesn't need to just be a house. You know, it's this feels like a place to live, and it feels like it didn't cost more than building any other housing. It was a lot of work, but it completely transforms the idea that you just live in a box on a street, and it feels like housing is often designed around roads, and it's about speculative investment. It's not about a place to live, and this feels like a place to live.
So we all know that we have got a big national challenge about housing, and the schemes that I've visited, well, they are great, they are wonderful, but they are small, they're small scale. I really think somehow, though, we do need to look at this challenge around housing in a different way, and I think there are lessons we can learn from these schemes. So I think part of the challenge for government, for local government, for the housing associations, for the builders is, are there ways that we can actually scale this up? Can we start to build some of those brilliant things that they're doing into the bigger schemes? Can we be a bit more inventive than just trying to build as many houses as possible for private ownership? Can we start to think a little bit more about communities and about places for us to live full lives?